Hi everyone, David here from daviddumaisaudio.com, and in this video we'll be going over Transmutator by JMG Sound. Now, Transmutator is said to be a crossfade plugin. So it's a creative crossfade plugin because it has different modes, and it's really was designed for music producers to crossfade between different music sections together. And yeah, but when I saw it, I figured, hey, why couldn't we just use that and apply it to sound effects? And because we're always layering different sound effects together, so I thought it'd be a cool idea to use this plugin to layer sound effects together and crossfade between them uniquely with the different modes that they have in the plugin. So what I thought we would do in this video is actually look at it, see if it's good or not, try it on different sound effects, and hopefully by the end you'll be able to make a decision for yourself whether this is something you might want to pick up. And also, just to let you know, at the time of filming this, the plugin will be on sale until the end of August. So make sure you check it out at pluginboutique.com. I'll leave a link in the description for that. All right, let's get into the video. All right, so the first thing we'll do is, I just imported like 2 whooshes here, but we're just gonna set it up from scratch here. So I'm just gonna find Transmutator here in my list. I'm gonna apply it here. And by the way, you can get a 15-day fully functioning free trial on their website. So I'll put a link in the description for that if you wanna check it out. But basically what we're gonna do is activate the sidechain. So I'm activating the sidechain on this one, and I'm gonna send this second layer here into the sidechain. So this layer is called this. So I'm just gonna copy it, go here, I can paste it here, and now I found it. There you go. So now it's all set up. The only last thing you want to do is you'll want to turn off the volume for this one. So instead of going to the stereo out, I'm going to say no bus. So now when we play it, you'll hear there's no volume. But when we go here to our first sound effect here on Transmutator, you'll see you'll have sound effect A, which I think is your top layer, and then sound effect B here should be the bottom layer. Yeah. So I might bring down the volume a little bit of this bottom one because it's really loud. There you go. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave it in the middle at 50%. And just keep in mind, this is a crossfading tool, not necessarily like a morph tool, but it does have a morph mode here. So you'll see here, there's like 12 or 15 different modes, whatever. And one of them is morph. So, and it works pretty well. So anyways, I want to show you guys what kind of sounds you can get with it because it's pretty cool. All right, let's try it. And by the way, the dry wet here is just to see what it would sound like if they were just playing together. So this is just them layered normally. This is how it sounds like. And then with this filter crossfade, it sounds like this. So that's pretty cool because it really drastically changes the sound. Like it's not the same sound as if you were just laying these 2 sounds together, which is great, especially when you're doing sound design. It's a quick way to get some new sounds going. So, and of course you can blend it here with the original. So I'm going to leave it at 100% for now, and let's keep it going. Yeah, let's keep this at 50, like I said I would, and then let's just go through the modes so we can have a listen. And I'll probably invert them as well, invert the effect so that we can have a listen to what it does. So let's go to the next one here, Spectrum. Morph. Stereo. All right, so those are the 12 modes. Now let's go a bit deeper into it and actually kind of see what it actually does. So what you might have noticed is as I was going through these, they start quite subtle and then they get more and more, at least in my opinion, they get more and more processed as you go. Some of them do get more processed, like Morph here is pretty darn processed. But you still get the same feel or sound as the original. All right, so let's start at the top here. So for filter, this is basically just a filter. It just applies a different filter to crossfade between the two here. So. And what I like to do, or what I found that I like to do, is to play with this knob here and modulate it as the sound is playing here. So. So I think that works really well. Not always. Like right now, you can tell like there's too much sweep to my liking, but. It's quite bassy, this one. Stereo, of course, adds a lot, like stereo. I think one sound is in the mid, and then the other sound is out only stereo, and then as you sweep through, they switch places. In pan, and they're just one's pan right, one's pan left. Then you can switch them sides. And as you go through it, they switch sides as well. Transient, you'll have one, it'll take like the transients of one and then the tail of the other and then kind of blend them together. Something like that. Okay, this is pretty good. I want to go to actually a different example because these other examples that I have set up here actually demonstrate it a bit better. So let's see what we have here. So here I have two spell sounds. So let's bring this all the way down so we hear what it is. Okay, so one spell sound here. That's just an electricity one. And then just a spell cast. Okay, so those are the two. And then if you put them together with transient here, it sounds like that. Let's hear other ones here, like Morph. Sounds very different. That's cool. Let's try a different one here. There was one, I think it's Wash here. It adds like a reverb to it, which is nice. That's okay. Let's try another one. Let's try filter. See, this is cool because now I can like switch from one sound to the other really smoothly, especially with the filter. It sounds great. So you start off with like this electrical buzz and then you finish off the spell with like this explosion. Or you can go the other way around. Let's flip it. So that's pretty cool. Let's try another one here. And what's really nice, or at least what I really like about it, is that you control that with just like one knob. That's what I think makes this plugin really powerful, is that you're really just playing with one knob. And yeah, so it makes it really easy instead of like trying to crossfade between the two samples and like putting your fade in and fade out and like making it line up perfectly. Like you can just play around with this until it sounds the way you want it to sound, you know? Let's try a different different one here. Let's try pitch. So pitch, so what it does is it'll change the pitch of the sounds. So it'll do, if you start all the way to the left here, it'll do, I think something like B will be like down 24 semitones, and then A will be at 0. And then as you switch over, A will go down 24 and B will go up to 0, something like that. And then if you invert it, it'll be like the opposite. So let's have a listen. So it's quite drastic. And of course, when you invert it, it's just, it starts at plus 24 instead of minus 24. And then shift is, it's the same thing as like pitch, except it's a bit more subtle. So let's have a listen to this. What I really like for this kind of sound effect here that this one that I had picked out is the transient one. I find this is just works really nicely. Sorry, just switch it. So if I put it all the way down, it's just like a new sound effect. It's just, it's really great. So I think what it's doing is it's taking the transient from A or B, and then it's peaking those out and then taking the tail from the other side. So let's say it's taking transients from A, it'll blend that with the tail from B and blend it as it goes through the sound, if that makes sense. I think that's what it's doing. I might be completely wrong, but I think it's doing something like that, but it sounds great. At least to my ears. And it's really nice that it changes the sound. Even though it's not super drastic, it's not like a crazy new sound, it's still blending the two sounds together, which is nice. It's like a new way to blend your sound effects together. All right, why don't we move on here and try something else? So when I first started preparing for this, like I started with just like magic spells, and I figured, okay, that's kind of cool. And then I wanted to try something a lot more plain and simple, which is just my voice. So what you'll see here is just, I'm making creature sounds with my voice. So let's just hear what I have here. Oh, all right, over here. So this is just the creature, like me making some weird sounds with my voice. No processing, nothing. And yeah, so this is the A layer, which is this top one up here. And then I'm just going to do B. And that's this bottom one. Okay, so now let's hear them together without Transmutator. So I turned it off. It's only the dry. Okay, and now let's actually bring up the complete wet, and I have it on Morph here, and let's listen to it. So it's really cool because it's like a new sound. And like I said before, like I like to just like move this around as it's playing through the file, because then you can get like different qualities of both files in the sound. Let's try and invert it. And again, just a reminder of what it used to be. All right, let's try some other ones here. Let's try maybe pitch. This might be quite drastic, maybe a bit too much. Let's try it. Yeah, a little much. Let's try shift, because this would be less. I still find it a bit much for this kind of creature sound that I'm going for. That's cool. Let's try stereo. So stereo won't actually work because these are two mono files. It's nice that it's still, the plugin doesn't like crash or anything. So anyways, let's move on here. So that's kind of cool. So next thing I have here is something similar, but what I decided to do is I decided to take one take of my voice doing a monster growl, and then an actual designed monster growl that I had recorded. So let's have a listen to these. Let's just listen to them together. I don't know if you could hear both. Let's hear both. So if I do A, so that's the monster sound, no processing. And my voice, no processing. So let's have a listen to them together. Right? So like you can really blend those two sounds together and they sound like a new creature, which is awesome. So one of the things that's kind of I don't like about it is you can hear like sometimes when you're using these different modes, there's some modes for some reason that they're just not smooth when you're just fading between the two. So have a listen. When I'm doing it, like when I'm going towards like B, it just really pops suddenly. It's not a smooth transition. So it really clicks somewhere in here. Anyways, yeah. It's like somewhere around here, it just, you start to hear a lot of the transients of the monster sound for some reason. And it's not really smooth. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, you can definitely get away with it, but it's just, all right, let's try something else. Let's try transient for this one. Okay. That's cool. Let's try Morph. That's let's invert this one. Okay, nothing overly special that I like about this one. Okay, so that's cool. Just get an idea with that. Let's try other ones that I have down here. Okay, actually, I want to go back because I want to show you another mode that I really like, especially for spell sounds, which is this liquid. So let's have a listen to this. So what this does is I think it creates something like 60 some plus bands or something, and then it only plays the odd bands first. And if you switch it, then it'll just play even, something like that. And then this is what it sounds like. And it sounds really cool, especially for like magic sounds. It's great. You can even bring it down a little. Let's invert. I like that. It kind of has that magical quality to it. So this liquid mode is really great for these kind of magic sounds. So anyways, yeah, I just wanted to show that. Let's see if we had other ones. I think I had one more down here I wanted to show, which was this one. Let's have a listen to this one here. All right, so this one I had a glitchy sound effect here. This is it. And then on this side, I had this magical ambient sound. And let's just hear them together. Like dry. This is them layered on top of each other, right? So it sounds kind of bad. Here you'll notice like I did change the gain because they were like the glitch is really loud and the ambience was really soft. So I put the ambience up and the gain, the glitch sound down quite a bit. All right, so that's what it sounds just layered normally. And then you add this plugin. I really like that sound. That sounds really cool. Like a transition sound when you're like entering a level or something like that. I don't know. It sounds really cool. Let's try another one. Kind of simple for this one. Let's try a different one. Let's try this. Bring this up a little bit. So one of the kind of downsides of this plugin is that you kind of have to find the right mode that really works with the sound effects that you're working with. Like if you're just looking for something simple, like if you have two similar sound effects together, then you can probably use almost any mode in here and it'll work fine. Especially the simpler ones like at the top here. But if you're working with something that's completely different, like this one, some of them will really not sound that great. Especially the more simple ones like the filter crossfade and the spectrum crossfade. They don't sound right. So you do have to kind of pick and choose the one. And I guess as you get to know the plugin, I guess you'll know to, like whenever you're learning different sounds like this, you'll probably want to go for the Morph or the Liquid if you're looking for something more magical. But just to be aware of that, because you might be spending a bit of time like kind of going through the different modes to find the one that would actually work for the sounds that you're going for here. All right, so yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this plugin. Hopefully this gives you an idea, a good overview of how it works. I've kind of already gone over some of the things that I didn't like about it. I'll mention a few more here that I think that could be improved about the plugin. One of them is that whenever you double click on this big knob here in the middle, you come up with this calculator, which is fine. Normally if you want it halfway, you'll just put 50, press enter, and then it would go in the middle. But as you can see here, it doesn't, because what I'm guessing is they actually have like two numbers. One is for the left and one's for the right. But it'd be nice if they just had like one number. Like we all know the left is 0%, the right is 100%. I mean, every other plugin does it this way. So just make it so when I press 50, it goes to halfway, so I don't have to like try to get it exactly with my mouse. So it's quite annoying, especially because for example here, this value, if I press 50, it works. It works exactly how you expect it to be. So if I put it 100, it works. It goes back to 100. But for this knob, it's really annoying because like even if I put it 100, it's going to go at 100. If I put it at 0, then it works. But if you put it at 50 for some reason, it doesn't work. So it's really kind of strange. Like 100 and 0 works, but nothing in between. So that's kind of annoying. Yeah, just that one thing to think about. Another thing that to take into consideration is that everything's kind of baked in. So like, for example, the pitch module here, everything's already baked in. Like it's already plus 24 semitones or minus 24 semitones, and you can't really change that or like change those settings. That's just how it is with the plugin. So you don't have that extra control over those things. Again, not a huge deal, especially for the price that you're paying for this when it's on sale. I think like right now it's like $35 or something like that, which is decent. But just be aware of that because you can't go and change it. It's also nice that they did add like, a shift here, which is a bit less intense than the pitch in terms of pitch shifting. But just be aware that you can't go inside in the back end or something and tweak other settings. Like this is what you get here. And that's part of the strength of this plugin actually, is that it's just basically one knob, and then you can like click through and change the modes. So it's kind of its strength and its weakness at the same time, because it's just super easy to work with. Like you just move your knob and then you're done. Like it's super nice, super easy. Another thing that I would like to see like fixed is this whole double clicking thing. Like I don't know why companies aren't doing this, but like when I double click on a thing on a knob, it's nice that it just resets to 0. If I double click on this, it resets to 0. They have it so that it sets to set the setting that you want. Maybe if I right click, it does go. So that's kind of nice. So there you go. So just be aware of that. If you for this one, you need to right click in order to reset stuff to its default value. Maybe that's why this 50% thing here doesn't work. I don't know. If you right click on it, it goes to 50%. Here, same thing. Right click goes to 50%, which is really nice. So those are kind of the things that I'd like to kind of see improved. Some really good things about it. Obviously, one, for what you're getting for the price point is really great. You're getting 12 different modes to basically crossfade between each other in a creative way that's really quick, really easy. You don't have to do a lot of work or automation to do it. It's all baked into the plugin right here. Another thing that's great is that it works with stereo and mono files, as I showed here with like my voice. I was doing it with my voice, and then I also use like stereo sound effects, and it works for both, which is really great. And you can also use like if one layer is mono, the other layer is stereo, it'll still work. So that's great. And the other thing is that it works up to like 192 kilohertz for your sample. So like pretty much any sample that you'll throw at it, it'll work and it'll be fine. So I think that's pretty much it for this video, for this plugin. Hopefully this gives you a better idea of what it can do, how you can use it, and just how quickly you can get some nice new results out of your samples. So All right, so I think that's everything for this video. Thanks so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Also, I'll leave a link in the description for a free sound pack that I'll create for you guys, so check the link for that. And I think that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.